Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at another cryptid figure from CreatuReplica, and as you can see from the name tag right in front of us here, it is going to be their Horrorhound, a very cool looking cryptid figure. Once again, if we take a look at the overall packaging, it looks amazing. You've got a very cool image once again in the background there of the Horrorhound itself. And then if we take a look at the back, you've got the same information on the back that appears on each of the figures' packaging. And it's a very cool read, along with another image here of the other figures in the line, which this is the third of the 4 that we have reviewed. So let's break this open. We'll take a look at the Horrorhound right now. So here is the base, yet another incredibly cool looking base straight away. And you can see once again there's 3 pegs similar to the Rougarou figure, but we also have yet another little spot here to include something on our base, and that is because on this one we get an incredibly awesome looking tombstone, really beautifully sculpted and slides straight into place just like on the Rougarou figure. And then you can turn it around and see now how cool that looks with the tombstone included. And then of course our Horrorhound figure itself, which looks amazing, absolutely amazing here at first glance. So the set overall looks to be incredibly cool. I am extremely excited to take a look at this very cool cryptid figure from CreatuReplica right now with you guys. So let's get a closer look right now. So starting up at the head sculpt of the Horrorhound, you can see that it is incredibly well sculpted. Really beautiful work. So much insane fine detail on the figure that it is actually quite staggering to see in person. The eyes are a yellowish color, and they are both painted perfectly, not an ounce of sloppiness that I can see. Both are really nicely glossed, giving them a very realistic appearance as far as eye shine goes, and it has kind of this bloody type of an appearance, mostly all over the figure. You can see it around the eyes, you can also see it running down here onto the cheek and into the mouth area, and that is also really well glossed. Look at that shine. It looks actually quite gross in person, but I love it because of how gross it looks. You can see the teeth are sculpted out really nicely. You can also get hints of the gum line here and there, along with a very nice coloration on the teeth. It's kind of like an off-white, almost like a grayish color. And even within the teeth, you can see some very nice detailing and sculpt as far as the very minute detailing, like cracks and stuff and crevices within the teeth. It's a little hard for my camera to focus on for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't want to. But you can definitely see that the detailing is really well done, and you can see that kind of bloody appearance, that gore effect running down here on the same side as the opposing side, and also up there in the eyes as well. As you get back here, you can see some really nicely sculpted out fur. It's a nice black coloration. And then up here you've got the ear, which is sculpted really well. And you can see that it's all painted with a nice brown color, but it's also given a very dark wash, and as is the face area of our Horrorhound. So it brings out all the incredible detail, the ridiculous amount of sculpt work that is included. It brings it all out really nicely. You can also see the nose is sculpted really well and also has that gloss because it has that sort of bloody appearance, that gore-like appearance to the inside. You can also see hints of blood on the teeth. Unlike the Rougarou, the jaw is actually not articulated on this one, so the mouth stays shut the whole time, but it looks incredibly awesome the way it is. Up here you can see some staples holding the head together, I guess you could say, or the skin onto the head, along with sort of some blood that runs along the line where the staples are included. And then you can also see some very nice sculpting of the fur up here on the top of the head and the hair, and that runs around to the back, and you can see it back here as well. Looks really nicely sculpted, beautifully portrayed hair and fur all over the body. And then as we lead down into the upper part of the shoulder area, you can see that the hair and the fur kind of cuts off and comes down a little into like the mid area of the back. It looks so nice yet again. The sculpt of the fur is just off the charts beautiful. But then as we get down here, you can start to see the skin come out, and it does have really nice skin texture all over the place, and certain areas you can see have kind of like the muscles and tendons and everything of the creature starting to stick out, and it's once again sculpted really nicely. Beautiful detailing within. You can see just how incredible that looks, even kind of some bullet holes it looks like on the back of the animal, and it's all glossed so well. Look at how beautiful that shines. It looks extremely realistic. The gore effect on this figure is just unbelievably nice, and you can again pick up on sort of some staples and the stitch type look to it all over the place that is quite nicely present, along with some veins and everything that run all over the animal. Again, the paint application is top notch. It's about as good as you could possibly find. You come down here into the rear of the animal, and you can also see some very nice color variation. Beautiful tones of color within and very nice shading that has been done. If we look at the front of the animal, you can see the very muscular looking neck there underneath the head. And again, lots and lots of bullet wounds all over the front of the animal, along with some very large chest muscles, some very large pecs. Over here you can see some more of those staples that have been included, and some more bullet wounds. You can also see up here the kind of neck tensing up and stretching the skin. That looks extremely cool. As we come down into the lower part of the body, you can now see the intestines of the animal are inside. Very, very nice gloss included once again on all of these different areas of the gore effect on the front of the figure. Really, really awesome paint work that has been done on top of the already incredible sculpt work of the figure. And you can see it shine and glisten off of the light so realistically. It's honestly amazing looking at this figure in person. Really nice muscle tone here in the arms as we come down. Beautiful skin texture once again. You can even see that it appears as though like the hand was once cut off completely and then stapled and sewn back on, which is really cool to see. A very nice little addition to the figure, and that's the same deal over here on this side. The hand sculpt is incredible once again. Really cool veiny like appearance to it. The fingers also look really nice. The nails are once again sculpted beautifully and glossed beautifully, just like we saw on all of the figures so far. There's also some hair back here on the elbow area and the back of the forearm area. Both arms and both hands are sculpted very similar but look incredible for sure. As we come down into the legs, you can again see just how much muscle tone is included, and again you can see that this leg apparently was once severed completely and has now been sewn back on. I really love that. I think that's such a cool addition to the figure. And then once again you can see how beautiful the paint application is. So many different tones of color all throughout the figure. Completely beautiful hair picking up again as we get down here into the lower part of the leg and we get down here into the foot. The foot sculpt looks beautiful. Once again, really nicely sculpted nails with cracks and crevices within. Beautiful gloss coat applied, and again the very nice coloration of the nails. Very nicely sculpted undersides to the feet. Very padded type of a look. So this figure unquestionably is unbelievable in person, just like the last two. As far as these creature replica figures, they are just amazing. And then if we take a look at the base, you can see that the base is sculpted very nicely, just like the last one. It has kind of like a very earthy type of an appearance to the base for sure. Really nice vegetation coming up, and again they don't skimp out anywhere when it comes to the paint application of their base. There's many different variations of greens and everything included on the vegetation, and even the rock area. Look, you can see different variations of color within the rock and stone, giving an incredibly realistic appearance for sure. Even the tombstone itself has lots of color variation, and it honestly looks like a real tombstone here in front of me. It is weathered so beautifully and so realistically, even including kind of like some moss growing in certain areas on the tombstone. You can also see that on the back. Look at the incredible weathering that has been done to this. Lots of cracks and everything included on the tombstone, giving it such a realistic appearance. This base is just as off the charts as the figure itself, and I find that same ordeal going on every time I review one of these creature replica figures. They are always so well done. There's no laziness, no sloppiness, so much love and care put into each figure, and you can really see that shine through because the people that make these figures are fans of cryptids just like we are, so they really do spend a lot of time making sure that the figure is definitely perfect for us fans, and it really shines through each and every time I review one of these, just showing how beautiful of a job they do, not only on the figure itself, but also on the base. So as far as articulation, you've got the articulation of the head, so he can look left and right. He can also look up and down, not too far, but definitely far enough. You've got articulation in the shoulder here. You've also got articulation right down from the shoulder here on a swivel. the articulation of the elbow, as well as the wrist, which goes like this, but also can swivel. So really nice articulation for sure. Same deal over here with the shoulder, and then right under the shoulder, the elbow. The wrist is on a swivel and can also bend in, just like this. Then once we get to the chest, we've got the articulation of the chest right there. You've got articulation in the hip area, the kneecap, which is nicely straightened out now. You've also got articulation right there in the shin, and then articulation into the ankle as well. So definitely a ton of articulation. These figures are continuously articulated to the absolute max, and I love that because it creates an entire world of possibility when it comes to the display factor of exactly what you would like to do with your figure when displaying it, and the fact that they also include numerous pegs on the base, giving you the option kind of to place it on the base wherever you would like to create some very cool posability with that as well, was such an incredibly nice choice on the part of CreatuReplica. Something you don't really see companies do too often is give you options as far as the way you can pose it on a base, but they have here, and I love the fact that they have. So just like the other figures, all I had to do was slide the pegs into the holes of the feet, and the figure is standing perfectly on the base now. Once you actually put them on the base, it is extremely solid on there. It holds the figure up perfectly, so no matter what position you put the figure in, it will not fall over. It balances perfectly no matter how you display it, and that is awesome. The balancing of these figures is like next level. They balance so well. And then as far as a size goes, as I've said in the reviews of the other ones, each figure is actually quite large. So for a height on our Horrorhound, you're looking at a little over 9 inches, maybe 9 1/4, or about 13.5 centimeters. And then as far as the base goes, if we go for this distance here, you're looking at about 5 inches or 13 centimeters. And then for a distance like this, about 3 inches or 8 centimeters. So the base itself isn't that large. It's not huge, but the figure itself is very tall. And to show you that for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, Robert Muldoon, and the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, giving you a good idea that this figure is really quite large. Again, extremely tall, towers over all 3 of those figures with ease. And it also helps to show you that each one of these figures are really quite large, and in the final review I will actually show you all 4 all together so you can get an idea of how they size up next to each other, but this should hopefully give you a good idea that these are still very big figures. So this CreatuReplica Horrorhound figure is amazing. Really well done, and there's nothing different that I can say about this one that I haven't said about the others, because every single time I've reviewed one of these figures, I have been nothing but impressed. The sheer amount of love and care that goes into these figures is so visible when looking at it. It's so apparent. It's just amazing to me. It really gives you a very fulfilling feeling to know that the people that create these figures are just as big of fans of cryptids as you are, and they really go the extra mile when it comes to their figures, making sure that they deliver the absolute best possible product to you. And you can see that shine brilliantly through each one of these figures. The sculpt of this is just amazing. It is truly off the charts as far as the very minute detailing goes, even showing like things like the neck stretching the skin and the neck tensing, and just showing the animal, kind of the movement of the animal or the creature, however you want to term it, throughout the sculpt is so beautifully done, and the very minute details like the veins and everything all over the body in certain areas that appear to have been severed and then sewn back on or stitched or stapled back on, however you want to term that, are really cool. Such a beautiful sculpt, really doing the Horrorhound justice. And then the additions of things like the gore, like the intestines hanging out and kind of the appearance of like the muscles shining through and the body where it's been ripped open, different bullet holes and everything. It looks so cool. It's so beautifully painted. Really well glossed, absolutely glossed to perfection, giving it an incredibly realistic look and such an awesome touch to this figure overall. The base as well is incredible looking. The dirt, stone, and vegetation all on it looks very realistic, really well done. Lots of beautiful color tones and everything included. There is no laziness anywhere on this figure when it comes to the paint application or the sculpt work. The tombstone as well is a beautiful touch to this. I really love that, and the weathering on the tombstone makes it legitimately look like a real tombstone in person. So this set overall is fantastic. The price for this, I believe, is $35, or you can actually buy all 4 of the first wave of the CreatuReplica figures for yourself for one solid discounted price, which is really cool to be able to get all of them all for one price, and that's probably your best bet, definitely the best deal. So I would recommend going that route, because there isn't a single figure that they have produced here that is a letdown. Every single one will exceed your expectations, and I can say that 100% with confidence, because they did exactly that to me. So if you want to buy this one specifically, I will include a link in the description to the CreatuReplica website where you can go ahead and do that for yourself. Definitely a recommendation from me if you are into cryptids. These figures are all fantastic. So head to the description, click that link, head on over to the CreatuReplica website, and purchase some of these amazing cryptid figures. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.